Ideally, what we want is everybody to live the life they choose without barriers, regardless of having a spinal cord injury.
I was injured 31 years ago, and at the time, there was not as much awareness as there is today. And when I was first going out into the community, I found it very difficult to find accessible locations, whether it be a cafe, a restaurant, a store.
Curb cuts barely existed. You had to learn how to jump up and down curbs to be able to get around.
There were not as many permit parking spaces, just far more buildings you couldn't get into, and also the attitudinal barriers.
I know that a lot of people thought I was crazy. I remember telling people that I wanted to be a television reporter to expose the issue of disability. People seeing me in front of a camera every day in a wheelchair would definitely inspire them to not be so meek in terms of their goals and aspirations.
There was a lot of advocacy, but there was no legislation back then, as there is today, to enforce a customer service standard.
May it please Your Excellency, an act to ensure barrier-free Canada.
The good news is just this spring, the Bill C-81 just passed, the Accessible Canada Act. Now that we finally have that in place, that is going to make a massive difference in this country. Over 30 years ago, it was standard to be in the rehabilitation facility for anywhere from 6 months to 12 months. What concerns me greatly now is the healthcare system has changed and there's not enough funding to keep people in rehabilitation systems for that same length of time. And it's not enough time physically to learn the skills you need to live independently, but more so it's the mental and emotional coping skills. They're just not there.
People with spinal cord injuries have to go through this individual journey of recovery, rekindling passion for life. How you perceived your life to be and the things that you wanted to explore suddenly feel compromised and unattainable.
That's why it's so important to have the services of Spinal Cord Injury Ontario there to help people with that transition when they first get out of rehabilitation, but also long-term into the community. It is absolutely essential.
Well, I joined SCIO since I came to Canada when they first introduced the peer support program. I thought, that's wonderful. That's the kind of support that I think everybody can use. And I enjoyed that tremendously. To have somebody who have went through a very similar situation to share the experience with you, I think is invaluable because it gives them the hope, it gives them the assurance that something good will come out of this.
So the root of Spinal Cord Injury Ontario is its peer support program. Engaging people with lived experience that they can share to other people. That is the cornerstone of how this organization was built. So everything we do is around people's hearts.
The first wheelchair I had was steel, and then it moved to aluminum, and now it's titanium. So you've seen that evolution in materials that are lighter, more durable, easier when you're throwing them in and out of your car 10 times a day to get around. It's easier on your shoulders, but also friends that I see who use power chairs. The technology aspect is just leaps and bounds to where it was years ago. It's incredible.
And we're still moving forward with things like exoskeletons, and it's only going to get more creative towards how we could be more efficient in society.
What I'd like to see eventually is the cost come down, because living with a disability is extremely expensive.
One of the things that I think is still lacking is the issue of sexuality and disability. It is a very, very important area that is faced by people with spinal cord injury.
When I think back 75 years, I am so proud of Spinal Cord Injury Ontario. I have no better word but miraculous. It's just amazing how far we come to get to that equitability between all people who live in our society.